In the modern dark romance genre, the blueprint is usually fixed. You expect an immediate drop into a steamy encounter with a toxic hero, where the setting is little more than a vague, paper-thin backdrop. It forces the reader into the dual prologue of a world called the Heart, a space defined by dense world-building and heavy historical consequence. This history centers on the Lemurians, a displaced people driven from their ancestral homes by the greed of their own kin. They fled across the sea to establish a sanctuary on a wild peninsula, balancing on the edge of survival. They endured this crossing through a primal magic system known as the Tigress. In this society, female desire functions as an active, volatile weapon, a sacred fire passed through generations that prioritizes survival, and how it was eventually turned against the very people it protected. During the Age of Abundance, the Lemurians built a society rooted in communal prosperity. It was a time defined by the rhythm of the tides and the shared joy of a people who had successfully found a home. The mechanics of the Tigress magic were central to this thriving era. Lemurian women were the crucibles of their culture. In this era, female sexuality was a respected, life-giving force. It existed as a source of communal power rather than individual shame, providing the social cohesion required to build a lasting civilization. This era of harmony eventually collapsed as the protection of the Tigress was undermined from within. The very magic that ensured Lemurian survival was about to be monetized and chained by the elite class of their own kin. As the great port of Calumet grew, so did a new Lemurian elite class, the Wansabong. They realized that the masses could be managed far more effectively with ink and ledgers than with ancestral tradition. The Tigress magic was helpless against this corrosion. A primal fire designed to fight off an invader has no defense against a contract signed in ink or a law passed in the name of salvation. Long before the first foreign ships arrived, the foundations of Lemurian society were hollowed out by this internal betrayal. The elite had traded the safety of their people for status and gold. The internal collapse left the peninsula vulnerable to the white blood empires. The Tambrayans arrived with overwhelming military force, bringing a level of steel and industrial might that shattered the fragile local defenses in days. As the occupation began, the ancient magic manifested as the Black Flame. Lemurian women survived the camps by hollowing out the invaders, feeding on their lust to drain their willpower and turn their iron resolve into ash. Despite this resistance, the colonizers secured their grip through administrative force. They renamed the land Yalama and initiated a systematic campaign to dismantle the root Lemurian tongue. By forcing the population to speak this artificial tongue, they effectively severed the people from their own history and identity. This combination of internal betrayal and external linguistic erasure ended the Age of Abundance. What remained was a colonized territory built on the ruins of a forgotten culture, leaving a legacy of profound inherited trauma. The narrative abruptly shifts from these vast geopolitical movements down to the claustrophobic reality of a single bedroom in the present day. We meet Hazelia, a Lemurian woman waking from nightmares of exploitation and clinical torture. She is the living embodiment of the centuries of erasure we've just seen. Her immediate physical reality stands in stark opposition to her nightmares. She is safe in the arms of Zhang, a Nachian outsider who offers a level of care and presence. Hazelia's personal trauma is the microscale of a centuries-long narrative. The fear she wakes with is the accumulated weight of the history that preceded her. This leads to a pivotal, intimate moment where Hazelia stands in a minimalist room and slips into a white silk dress belonging to Zhang's wife. The act is thick with moral ambiguity. Hazelia is forced to navigate the space between guilt, submission, and a sudden, sharp realization of her own power. The tension of the story rests on a razor's edge. Is Zhang merely a predator setting a more sophisticated trap? Or is Hazelia finally reclaiming the ancient predatory fire of the Tigress?